All right, we back with Hood Stories. I think it's episode 6. It was a request from the YouTube commenters to talk about Rayful Edmonds, and I was eventually going to get around to Rayful Edmonds, the man that introduced or said to introduce crack cocaine to Washington, D.C. area. All right, and he brought in about $300 million annually by dealing crack cocaine in the 80s. Yeah, man. Deep story. You know, he got arrested. You know, he was indicted around 24 years old. And I can go on and on about this story for hours and hours. You know, and it was right for me to tell the paid in full story, and then the Alpo Martinez federal snitch rat and stories. Alpo Martinez was Rico from Paid in Full, actually a fictional character based on a true story. He went down to D.C. He actually met Rayful Edmonds before Rayful Edmonds got incarcerated in 89 at the age of 24 years old. And he was a bad man. Very, very smart. This dude had Ivy League college offers, you know. And at one point, you know, it was so dangerous around him that a lot of his goons were just, you know, doing reckless killing, shooting up clubs, and everything that bad happened in D.C. was put on him. It was put anything that, even if it wasn't affiliated, it had nothing to do with him, they would just say, oh, it had something to do with Rayful Edmonds. He was the most feared man in the D.C. areas in the 80s and the smartest man around. You know, they said some of his confidants that's been released since then, you can find a documentary on YouTube, was said to say that this dude would just remember how many, you know, birds you will owe him, or what did you owe him. He didn't keep no books. He didn't write nothing down, take no pictures. He remembered everything. He counted everything in his head, everything. And then up towards his height in DC, he would employ people to actually break down the stuff for him, and he it ran on 3 shifts. You know, and they said it was very, very dangerous. Sometimes you would make it to Friday to get payday. You know, because a lot of things would happen. And the crack era was crazy, man. A lot of people say it's so bad right now, but a lot of people don't remember or wasn't around in the 80s when crack was put in the black community to tear it down. You know, and it was you had crackheads stealing, killing, people killing. It was a terrible time, man. And he was a part of that. He introduced the crack cocaine in DC, and like I said, he brought in $300 million annually. He will move 1,000 to 2,000 kilos per week. You know, and it was crazy, man. He eventually got caught. You know, conspiracy was one of the charges. You know, without conspiracy, a lot of these dudes would never get caught. But ultimately, you know, when you dealing drugs, your demise is either being shot or going to jail. And conspiracy, you know, helps them, catch a lot of the drug dealers and a lot of the elite mobsters and elite criminals that they can't catch. You know, but some of the charges that he was brought up on is endangering in a continuing criminal enterprise, conspiracy to distribute and possess with intent to distribute more than 5 kilograms of cocaine, unlawfully employing a person under 18 years of age, interstate travel and aid of racketeering. I mean, so many damn charges he got brought up upon. And at one point, this dude said he wish he just went to college. The pressure got so bad that some of his guys were going out there shooting up clubs and kept doing it again and again, tracing it back to him. He would sit him down, telling him, I don't need you to do all this killing, all this shooting. It's reckless, it's senseless. But his goons, even if you disrespect them in any way, shape, or fashion, you know, even without Rayful sending the pits out or the goons out to him, they would do the killing anyway. They killed for fun. He had real killers around him, man. And he was convicted in 89. You know, and September 17, 1990, the court sentenced him to mandatory life without parole. So yeah, but when he went behind the bars, okay, when he went behind the bars, he still was selling crack cocaine behind the prison walls in Virginia. He was chopping it up in pig Latin, selling dope, you know. And Gonzalo Branco's son was helping him. They met up in one of the penitentiaries, sell dope. Okay? And, you know, eventually he turned into a snitch. You know, and that's a very, very recurring thing. But he didn't snitch because he went down. He didn't snitch because he got caught. He snitched because he was setting dudes he was setting dudes up with the stuff outside behind the prison walls, and they was taking advantage of it. You know, they wouldn't pay him back. They wouldn't get the money back to the plug. They would run off with the work and do whoop whoop whoop. So eventually, you know, he snitched on all the players. They set him up, you know, at the drop spots, and they supposed to drop the dope. He snitched because they wasn't paying him back. He didn't snitch because he went down. He snitched because obviously the cartel wasn't getting their money back, you know, and you know, all these people that took advantage of him because he was behind the walls, he was setting them up. They was running off with the work, not paying the plug, not paying the money back, and he ended up snitching, and then he done went into a witness protection agency behind the walls or whatever, behind the prison, and he told on them. Right now, he like 55 years old, and the decisions he made at 20, 24 years old put him in life behind bars, and he had to tell him his boys, you know what I'm saying? And people really wasn't for him. And also, you know, they try to plug his mom up in the shit. You know, he thought he could beat the case. He didn't take the plea deal, and they caught his mom saying something on with a wiretap about something, and then his mom, you know, ended up doing some time here. I think she did like 10 or 20 years herself because she wouldn't give up her son, and eventually, you know, he went down anyway. And they had a jury that was behind a bulletproof glass. He was so dangerous. They covered their faces up and stuff of that nature. It's a really, really deep story, man. He made a lot of money. I mean, 300 to 400 million every year. And also, John Thompson, Sr., Georgia Hoyas coach, he was the only man to G-check Rayful Edmonds to get away with it. What happened was, Rayful Edmonds was getting close to some players in Georgetown. Specifically, Alonzo Mourning was one of the players, and John Turner he was getting close with, partying with, and you know, doing what he do. And you know, John Thompson heard about it. He set up a meeting with Rayful Edmonds, I think on the university campus or whatever, in the office or the gymnasium. And he told, you know, he G-checked him. He said, stay away from my players or it's going to be consequences and repercussions. He is said to be the only man to G-check Rayful Edmonds and get away with it because obviously he knew the impact of John Thompson down there at Georgia, and he knew what he doing, probably was doing was wrong, so he let it ride. So you check the documentary out on YouTube. It's like an hour or 2 hours long, I think. Don't forget, we're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I don't get monetized for these videos, so shout out to everybody that subscribed. Make sure if you want to donate and keep the Hood series going on YouTube, or you can take it to the Raw Uncut podcast. You can donate through the PayPal link, or when we go live, y'all know what the business is. One time for the one time. TBC and more. We out.